What is good, YouTube? Quinn Wade coming to you with that NBA news slash hot topic analysis on Analysis Playground going live on there on YouTube exclusively. And hopefully you guys had a good weekend and back to the work week. We are going back to it. And let's start this work week off with Daniel Gafford being another guy that's at the center position, getting a good extension for playing his role and knowing his game. This time, the Dallas Mavericks and him have agreed to a 3-year extension worth nearly $60 million. The deal runs through 2028, 2029. Gafford is scheduled to make approximately $14 million next season before the extension actually begins. The Mavericks acquired Gafford from the Washington Wizards, and that trade actually was a big reason why they was able to get to the NBA Finals because he played a great role protecting the rim, finishing at the rim, rebounding, and setting good screens. The Mavericks have a crowded front court with Gafford, Anthony Davis, and Derek Lively III, and they also have Cooper Flag, who's going to play that 3 or that 4 position. Mostly probably going to be the 3. We're going to see if he's going to be able to defend and play at a high level at that position. He's not going to have the athletic and size advantage that he had in college and high school because it's already those type of players in the NBA. They're going to make it tough. They're going to make it difficult. They're going to make it frustrating. They're going to make it uncomfortable as much as they can. But it's good to have two bigs because we've seen Derek Lively get injured. We've seen Daniel Gafford get injured. We know that Anthony Davis is always in and out of the lineup, and it would be good to have guys that you trust and you know that can get the job done and play at a high level. And we know for sure Daniel Gafford can do that for Jason Kidd and the Dallas Mavericks. So it makes sense for them to pay him his money and give it to him early because you don't want to ruffle no feathers. You don't want him and his agent feeling in a type of way like they're not important, they're not needed, and they're not wanted on this team. Because if you felt that way, you should never traded for him in the first place. But he will always be known as an asset because his contract is not the greatest, it's not the toughest to trade for, not the toughest to get. Plus, he's a respected player around the league. So I understand why they wanted to get it done now and get it over so they can focus on the draft, which is Wednesday, and focus on what they really need to do to finish off this roster to get them back in the playoffs so they can have a chance to win the NBA championship. And that's what it's all about anyway. But we know how hard and how tough the Western Conference can be. So putting your roster in the best position is all the GM's supposed to be doing, and just communicating with the coach to make sure they're on the same page so that way they can get the best out of the team and out of the roster. And that's all the coaches are supposed to do, which is understandable because they have been one of the best teams in the league the last couple of years, and they want to continue that. So it's going to be interesting to see what they do in the draft. It's going to be interesting to see what they do with the rest of the roster because we know that Kyrie Irving is going to miss majority of the season, and we don't know when he's going to come back and play, and we don't know how he's going to look, and we don't know how he's going to fit with this new roster. But they have shooting, they have spacing, they have size, they have length, they have guys that can play hard defensively, and they have the ability to rebound and protect the rim. And those are the fundamental things that you need to do at a high level if you want to be able to be the one hosting that Larry O'Brien trophy in your arena, plus getting it done to be able to have it, which they do have guys that have done it like Anthony Davis and Kyrie Irving and Klay Thompson already on their roster, and that just helps them be more prepared and more ready when it's time for them to compete against the best teams in the league. And that's all you can hope for. That's all you really want if you're a Dallas Mavericks fan, and that's something that's going to be fun and interesting to watch. Ime Udoka laughed and said low trade price led to Rockets trading for Kevin Durant. That's one of the main reasons why they went all in on trying to get him. They looked at it like we had to get rid of Jalen Green, but he's a great consistent scorer that can take over a game, control the game, and also get his own while also playing within the offense and being more consistent than a player like Jalen Green. I think 3 years of KD will be better than 3 years of Jalen Green. Although Jalen Green might eventually become a breakout player, that's something that you have to do if you have the opportunity to when you're trying to be a championship team. And that's one of the biggest reasons why they did it. Plus, they didn't really give up no first rounders. They gave up second rounders. And on top of that, They also got rid of Dylan Brooks, but he's not going to play that much, and they have a lot of wings and a lot of depth already at that position, like Amen Thompson and Jabari Smith, who they didn't even have to give up in this trade. And that's something that you rather have is guys that you like and guys you want to keep and guys that you know for sure fit what you're trying to do. Then guys you're drafting and trying to explain and get them to play at a level or want things that they can't do right now because they're too young or they're not developed right or good enough to be able to do it in the first place. But other than that, it makes sense for him to feel that way. The funniest thing about the Kevin Durant trade is now Russell Westbrook been a Thunder. Now from the Thunder, Russ, James Harden, Kevin Durant all played for the Thunder together. Now they all have played for the Houston Rockets, which is funny that was one of their rivals in the Western Conference and one of KD's biggest rivals. And now he's even playing for the Houston Rockets, although those guys are off the Rockets now. They all actually ended up suiting up for that team, which is crazy. Unfortunately, Tyrese Halliburton did confirm and his dad that he suffered a torn right Achilles tendon. That's one of the worst injuries that you can have. But the way he plays and the way his game is, he doesn't use it based off athleticism. He doesn't play that way. He's a skillful guy. He has high IQ. He knows how to get his teammates the ball. He knows how to play off the ball. He knows how to attack when he needs to. And if he doesn't, he gives the ball up and lets somebody else does it. So I don't really have a problem with him coming back and becoming an all-star or all-NBA player again because he just has a great understanding of how the game should be played and understands how to play it at a high level. And that's all you really need to do if you want to be great in this sport. And he has all that stuff figured out in his mind now, just about getting his timing right, his body right, his confidence back right, and just, seeing where he can modify his game and make the adjustments that's needed to be back a great player after the surgery and after he's ready to get back on the court. Giannis, he remains open-minded about future, could decide after Bucks offseason moves if he wants to stay. His future is not going to be tied to the draft. Obviously, there's not any crazy picks right now besides Cooper Flag and probably Dylan Harper that can come in and contribute right away and put up numbers. But even then, will they help winning at a high level, or will it be somebody else on their team or a couple of guys on the team that's going to make a higher impact than them on winning? We don't really know until it happens, but that's something that most rookies don't contribute to for the most part, even though both of those teams that they're going to have talent. His future is not going to be tied to free agency either. This is a player who's at the peak of his powers. He is in the prime of his career. He is going to be able to dictate where and when he's going to be moved. And I agree with that because he is one of the best top three players in the world, one of the most unstoppable players, and he plays on both ends of the court, and he always plays hard each and every night and basically every game. And that's why he's a defensive player, the MVP, a finals MVP, a NBA cup winner, because that's what he brings to the table. And if he can do those things and he still has the ability to dominate the game, it makes sense to always have him as a priority, even if you're the Bucks or a team that they're trying to get rid of him to. But my understanding is giving the Bucks every opportunity in this offseason. We will have this draft period here. We will have free agent period coming up in the next week. We will have trade period coming up. During all of that, we have summer league coming up. What can the Bucks do to elevate this team and surround Giannis with the players that's needed for him to be able to compete at the highest level? He's been there for 12 years. For people that don't know, I think he owes them that. They owe him that. That's fair. Plus, they got respect for each other, and they know that the Dame injury wasn't their fault. It's just something that unfortunately ended up happening, and they just had to try to find a way to get past that and get through it. But Tyrese Halliburton is out. Jason Tatum is out. We don't know what's going to happen with Cleveland. We don't know what's going to happen with the Knicks. Anything can happen, just like these injuries that occurred out of nowhere that really make these teams worse. But the East is not impossible anymore because other teams that was at the top of the East got injured too, and Miami got worse. And Jalen Johnson, we don't know how he's going to be for Atlanta Hawks because he had multiple injuries. So a lot of these teams might get off to good starts. A lot of these teams might get off to bad starts, and that's what can keep the Bucks happy with Giannis. And it can also continue to find a way to make the roster better. And that's what John Horst has done since he's been there. And he is one of the best general managers, in my personal opinion. And he has put a great team around him already. It just unfortunate things that happen. Then after that, and Let's say 2 or 3 weeks into July, Giannis will have to figure out what is it. Do I feel this team I'm on right now, is it a championship contender? Because that's what I want out of my future. That's what I've been on record wanting, or is that just comfortable for him? And potentially loyalty is the factor and key what the Bucks are potentially playing on. I think too, another way to look at it is, if you're trading for Giannis, you're giving up probably one of the greatest hauls in NBA history. Will you still be able to compete for a championship trading for Giannis that same year? Just like losing Dame this year, the Bucks gonna look at it like, we trade you, we're gonna want so much that you're not probably gonna win the first 1 or 2 years anyway. And you can stay with us and we can try to figure out how to win with you, even if that's getting rid of Dame, even if that's getting rid of some key players this year, just to put ourselves in position to be players to get somebody next year or the year after that or the year after that, because Giannis is still young and he's still going to be great because he's just that good if he doesn't have a significant injury. So there's no real rush, because ain't like they're going to trade him, and the team that gets him going to be instant championship contenders because of how good he is. The price tag on getting him is going to be too high for anybody to really be able to win. To be honest, that's how good the guy is. It has been for the last 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 years. Then after that, and let's say one thing I do know, what's going on with Giannis is open minded. He's willing to hear things. He's willing to think things out. He's willing to not rush or force anything. And why would he? Nobody's really in a great position besides what Houston and OKC, and that's it. And they on that level, and they showed that they can, because they beat OKC in the cup game. If things go right and they play right and they play their best, they can compete with anybody. And he has since, I reported that during the draft combine, when he's open minded about scoring what is best fits for him. And is it Milwaukee? Is it outside of Milwaukee? And that's how you should feel as a guy that understands the game, understands the business side of it. Why wouldn't you try to reserve your options? And another thing that I see that I wanted to talk about too, was the fact that the Suns are considering taking Jewel on at number 10, which is going to be interesting because the 10th pick of this year draft was part of that Kevin Durant trade. Honestly, Jewel of all this was the number one, well, the number 10 overall pick in this draft. And you talk about why now. The trade now, because the draft is only 2 days away, according to everybody that knows about the draft being Wednesday. The Suns have to get moving on getting draft prospects. And obviously, they want to get somebody that can help contribute or be a good piece for them or a good asset. And you want to get that pick right, regardless of the reasons. Obviously, um, some people have Colin Murphy going out of South Carolina in the first mock since Phoenix have acquired the pick. Um, Green also, let's give him credit, signed a 3-year, $106 million contract with the Rockets in October of 2024. Green has potential overlap, obviously, because him and Devin Booker play the same position, also with Bradley Beal being there. So obviously he might be a guy that can get them somebody else, or maybe they go in a different direction with Devin Booker and Bradley Beal. Maybe they use some of those picks to move off Bradley Beal. I think that that's something that's going to be interesting, and is going to be very important to see what they do, because they have more things they can do now. They have more flexibility now, and they have more power now because they got things that guys are interested in. And a lot of teams will trade a lot to get a guy like Devin Booker. And even if you trade Devin Booker or Jalen Green, both of those guys have respect around the league, and both of those guys have shown that they can play and be starters in this league, and they're young still. And Bradley Beal, he might be older, but you get rid of some of that assets that you have to be able to get off that contract. You got to take L on it. You made a decision. He hasn't played well. He hasn't played that great. He hasn't been a good fit. He hasn't looked great at all as a Sun, really. And now you have to find a way to get off of it. Now you can wait until that contract expire, or you can make that move to get off of him now, just so you can build a different identity and a bit different structure with the young guys that obviously you will be having coming in this year and next year. Um, Other than that, that's all the news that I see. Nothing crazy besides um, the Rockets is to decline the $44 million option on Fred VanVleet with eye on new multi-year contract. So I guess they might actually keep him around. He can shoot, he can handle the ball. He's a decent playmaker. He's a guy that really understands how to win. He's a guy that understands his role and his strengths. He did average 14.3 rebounds and 5 assists in 60 games with the Rockets, and that's going to be something that is going to be important. I also wanted to say Chris Middleton did choose to exercise his 33 million player option with the Wizards. No shock there. Obviously, if you can get paid that much money, he's definitely not as good as he used to be. He's not as available as he used to be. So it does make sense why he wants to take the last big check that he basically can get and then still try to hang around the league as long as he can, because he still can shoot, he still can hit shots, he still can create shots, he still is a solid defender even through the injuries. And you just hope he can stay healthy and do his body right this off season to give as much as he can this year to show what he still can do, so he can still be in the NBA a little longer before he decides to retire. Um, I would also like to say um, Cody Martin is a guy that a lot of people are interested in. I wanted to say that the other day, but I forgot to. And I think that's going to be something that is going to be interesting when we continue to look at the depth of some of these teams and we see how these teams have so many players, and trying to figure out that rotation and trying to figure out what teams you want to keep and what teams you want to get rid of, and how to package all these things together to get a player that you really like. It has really made the NBA very, very amazing to keep up with and watch, because it's basically something to talk about each and every day that actually matters. And that just shows you how healthy it is, being able to cover the NBA, because it really is fun to watch. And I am going to be excited to watch the NBA draft, like seeing more talent come in, see more guys be ready to contribute. Yeah, and the Celtics, they need to continue to try to make moves too, so they can stay in the top of the East as they should want to be, because they have been there so long for the last 8 years. I don't really blame the Celtics fans for showing love to them, because they have really sold their team, and now our one of our best players is out. And every time I look around, somebody's saying trade Jaylen Brown, which makes no sense at all, because he gave us no reason to want him to be traded. He gives us no reason to even want to give up on him. I still do think we have to get rid of Porzingis, even though I like him and I want him to still be on the roster. But he has been too injured. He has always been a guy we have to cater to, and we have to pay him $30 million. I would love to keep him at 10 million, 15 million, but the fact that he's making 30 million is just going to be unrealistic for us to keep him around. Some people are already saying we might have to take Drew Holiday off your hands. He has to get his hands fixed, his finger fixed, because he damaged it. Hopefully he can come back healthy for any team, even if it's the Celtics. We'd love to have him back. He's a very good competitor. He's a very good player to have around, even if he's coming off the bench or being a starter. He's willing to accept any role as long as it comes with the port where he can still win. Other than that, thank y'all for watching. Thank y'all for coming to check out the channel. Thank y'all for supporting the channel. Thank y'all for continuing to appreciate the content for what it is. And remember, comment, like, subscribe, share, hit the notification bell for more analysis. And I make conversation videos just like this at various NBA-only topics. I also make breakdowns of real footage of legends, current legends, rookies, also feature stars. I also do my draft and draft coverage too. Plus, I got over 3,000 videos already on my channel that y'all can watch and enjoy, and possibly become a fan or a subscriber. Not only that, I also upload videos about NBA basketball content each and every day. One of the pioneers for basketball only channels on YouTube, and I've been at this for 10 plus years for those that don't know. So I know the type of stuff y'all want. I know the type of stuff y'all want to get from me. And that's a 50-50 reason why I'm still making content, because y'all love watching what I make and I love making it for y'all. And that's the reason why this channel has been having healthy growth. And I appreciate a lot of people that stayed subscribed, that ended up subscribing and supported the channel in the past, in the present, or even if they want to do that in the future. I don't have no problemo with that, and I'm good with that, because that's what I want to get, and that's what I'm doing it for anyway. Other than that, thanks for watching. Thanks for making time for me. Thanks for spending time with me, and thanks for all the love that y'all been giving over the last couple years that I've been doing this. Not only that, don't forget, I got more content coming, draft coverage. I'm going to go live, and you can watch it with me. If y'all want to do that on Wednesday, it's going to be something y'all can look forward to. Also got summer league content, preseason content, breakdowns, tributes coming this year, and also regular season content when it's October and November and December. And obviously I'm going to try to make as much content even next year if it's meant for me to do it. Other than that, y'all stay blessed up. Y'all stay good. Hope y'all having a good day. Hope y'all having a good week so far. And hopefully I can see you guys tomorrow with more analysis that you guys are very loving and needing. And I'm going to continue to try to give you all the best coverage and content that I can, as much as I can. And this has been one of the most consistent years that I have ever had on YouTube, giving y'all so much content each and every day. It's tough. It's hard, but I find ways to do it, find ways to get it done the right and correct way. And that's something I can just ask y'all and want y'all to do in y'all careers too. Don't forget to set more goals, keep yourselves positive, keep yourself in good spirits, and don't let too many things get you down or mess up your day too much, because you want to be as happy and have as much joy as you can in this world while you're living, and you should want that to be your goal each and every day. Other than that, see y'all later. I'm gone for now. Peace out. Y'all stay blessed up, and I want that for y'all. And I'll see y'all hopefully tomorrow with more analysis. Gone.